Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here with today's Monday's Musings to look at the weekly energy for Monday the 6th of February onwards. We are the 6th, aren't we? Yes, I know we are the 6th. Interesting. Okay, so first and foremost, knowing where we are feels like key this week. And, I'm very aware of the fact that I'm about to do a video reading into the energies further on. But if we know where we are when we do that, if we can really feel into the energy that we sense, what we're hearing, our vibrational blueprint based on where we are, we can start to take some kind of responsibility in regards to what we do with the energies this week. Something that feels really poignant and it's just coming through now, but only by acknowledging where I am. So, looking at the energies for the week, obviously I have the structure of the tarot and I have the guidance that comes through, but it really feels about relating to the part that we bring to the table also as we lead into Valentine's Day, as we lead into, a month that's very much about opening our heart. What with that full moon Leo that's just been very much about standing in who we are and shining and being open to that. But a lot of the times we want everyone to accept ourselves, a lot of the times we want everyone to accept us. But that acceptance, cliche as it sounds, does come from within first. From going through the process of whatever our body needs to go through. So an example, this week for me just gone has been a humdinger. And I mean a humdinger. It has been my first major tower moments of this chariot year, and it just felt like every time I got back up I got knocked back down again, and it really was needed because yesterday was the anniversary of my mother's passing, 2 years to the day. And what I decided to do with that energy, that grief, is to really sacredly hold space, not only for my mother and everything that she stood for, but everything I've inherited as a result. And that included the ability to get back up. That included the ability to know who I am and where I come from. But it also meant that I would let go yesterday of a lot of the things that have maybe stopped me from doing that. Cue Leo full moon, right? As our heart opens, whether that's through heartbreak, loss, grief, joy, as our heart opens, we are expanding the space for the very light of who we are to come through. That does mean it's an ongoing process of release, receive, release, receive. This week it feels really important to recognise where that may be out of balance. And again, that's just coming to me now, where that may be out of balance. Are we receiving every time we release? And if so, what are we receiving? Is it new? Is it the same foundations? Because if it's the same foundations, we are in the Tower Chariot year. They are going to be destroyed again until we have a firm, stable structure that we can build upon individually and collectively in order to move forward. And I say it all the time, but the cement of this, guys, is our emotions. Okay, now the Leo full moon, what do Leos do? They feel, they roar with their feelings, right? And they embrace them and they accept them. By doing so, we're less likely to project them onto others. By doing so, we're less likely to need that outer worth reflected back to us. So, completely forgot where I was at. Yes, thank you. Remembering where we're at. So being aware of all these things, but always bringing it back to where we're at. So just now, before I started the camera, I felt a real influx of light energy coming in, of laughter, of joy. My brain is saying, really? With everything else going on? And that's the key, I feel, for this year in particular. There is hope there. I can feel it under the ground, almost like a drumming guiding us forward, like a current. And what I hear is the word currency. Okay, so it is about the current that we allow ourselves to see this year. It is about what is abundance to us as well. It is about what is going to drive us forward, what is going to move us where we need to be. I feel joy. Now that's an individual thing for me. I'm not saying we all have to be happy in order to move forward. Why not? Why not? But I'm not here to project onto others what is going to work for me. It is about finding, and I will stand in that, it is about finding what works for you guys. But yes, okay, I will compromise it. Having joy in what works for you. Okay. I really felt almost like not a battle between my guidance and guides and things there, but a discussion. A discussion which feels again beautifully poignant this week, to really put our case forward in regards to our future self, our guides, whatever, and say, actually, yes, this is what we need, and have a little discussion. Okay, have a little discussion, recognizing what you bring to the table is just as valuable. We're all literally all learning from each other. Okay, so finding joy in what it is you do, what it is you offer, what it is you are here to be, is going to be really pivotal this week, this year, right? This lifetime. So I want to add a bit more on that this week, this year, this lifetime. They're all going to have something in common, okay? And it's kind of common sense that what brings us joy, helps us to be wherever it is we need to be. And yet I feel quite a lot of confusion here. I feel quite a lot of trying to overthink it here. And it is a calling. It is a spark. Refinding that spark this week is going to be key. It feels as if a lot ended last week, a huge amount ended last week, and as we lead into the upcoming months, particularly from March onwards, from spring onwards, when we have that equinox, from that moment onwards, things are going to lighten up, depending on what we do with them now. So every time we have this confusion, bringing it back to now, really grounding into the joy of being present in each moment. Now, not all moments are nice, right? But if we can be with them, if we can go through the process of holding space for ourselves in those moments, they do clear, they do shift, they don't come up and sneak up behind you and just pull the rug out from underneath you. Okay, so is there anything else on that? I can't really see much more apart from the fact that my eyes are being drawn to a branch on a tree picture in front of me, but what it's being drawn to is the line that I've drawn, and it's a white line, and it was there to emphasize the light. So really this week, if you feel as if things may be going backwards, or if you feel as if things, the waters may be muddied, there's a lack of clarity there, draw a line of focus on the light behind it. Okay, draw a line of focus on what it is you're trying to emphasize here. What is it you're trying to focus on? So for me, I really feel a space of joy and hope. Okay, so it is that I'm intending to bring forward. Gosh, I just heard that it could take some doing in this reading for the weekly energies and how to best navigate it. For me, that is the message. Hope and light is the best way for me to navigate the energies this week, whatever they may be. And I'm going to share that and make of that what you will. I really stand firm in, if it doesn't relate for you, it doesn't relate for you. And there is no point trying to push something that doesn't feel authentic this week in particular. Really, really honing in on what feels right. What feels right. Not in the sense of right and wrong, but what feels a true, genuine reflection of where you're at. With yourself as well, and having compassion for that. We may not feel positive. We may feel in a really low place, and recognizing where you're at, going through that process, giving yourself what is needed. We are in the month of love. Yes, every month is love, but we are in the month where we celebrate love. Okay, so taking that time to celebrate it for yourself. When it comes to delivery, when it comes to things changing, we need to feel safe. We need to feel held. We need to feel as if we can go through whatever needs to go through. So this week, whatever process you are in, itchy eye now, right eye, okay, with the feminine, because that's what's occurring, birthing this new creations within us, this new way of creating within us. Whatever is occurring this week with that process, really look at what you're seeing by going into how you feel and what it is you need from there, based on where you're at, where you're actually truly at, with no judgment. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to read the cards. Now this morning I was really undecided between Osho and the Light Seers Tarot. And I love them both. And I love Osho because it's very transcendent, it's very colourful, it's very light. I feel a lot of laughter in Osho's deck, in the energy. And I really like the light seers because there's a great balance between the light and the dark. I mean, the very inscription inside the light seers by Chris Ann Donnelly states, "And into the grey we follow, like 1,000 flickering stars, and there in a sunlight hollow we lose and find what is ours." And I really, really like that balance of the light and the dark, that walking the grey, the middle ground, particularly this week, in order to find what is ours. So in order to go into the darkness, we need light. Yeah, in order to be in the space of light, we need to be really grounded. So finding that balance so that we can find our own varying degrees of density, our own light and dark, because they are all light. They are just different densities, like a paint scale, if you will, from Dulux, okay? And we are made up of all of these. So finding a balance that works for you will only come by acknowledging where you actually are on the scale. And if you are lower down, bringing in things that are going to lift you up to a level that you're happy with. If you are higher up and you feel a bit jittery, then bringing in things that are going to balance you and bring that energy grounded, okay? And trusting your body's ability to do that. So if you suddenly feel low, rather than ignoring that, maybe look at what is going on around you. Maybe you've had an incredible idea come in and you've started to doubt it, and you need to shift and heal things around that. And that lower energy is going to either help you let go of this high energy until you're ready to manifest it, or to bring it down into your body and actually physically do something about it. So really trusting yourself as the medicine wheel this week, which brings me onto the deck that I'm actually going to use. It's called the Vision Quest. I can't remember who did them on, I'm afraid. Have I got the... No, I haven't got the box. It's called the Vision Quest Tarot. I really like these decks because obviously they have quite a shamanic feel to them. So for me personally, the way to balance the higher levels and the lower levels is more of a shamanic approach. And by that, underneath it all, what I mean is the ability to apply it to life. How it relates to where I am right now. Okay, so this week, finding a way that helps you to bring balance to all these different energies that are going on. Finding a way that helps you apply what is coming through to your everyday life. So, no wonder we have the Five of Fire, the stress card underneath. Before I shuffle the deck. Yeah. The Tower card underneath that. Now this really reminds me of that full moon in Leo. For some people it's been incredible. For some people it's been a real inspiring moment to get some deep-seated changes in place. For other people, and particularly Leos, myself, I know quite a few other Leos that have had a few moments. It has emphasised where we may not be inspired, where we may not be putting those changes in place. And again, it's those energies. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? Let go of the ones that we know aren't reasonable based on where we're at the moment. And the ones that are then left, bringing them together and starting that change, starting that process. Because there's a high chance in particular as we go into the time of September that everything we put in place from March onwards will start to slot and sink into place like dominoes, okay? And I am seeing 5 things coming into play, and how, if we can recognise how related they all are and the common denominator, there's going to be a lot more ease and grace here. So the common denominator is yourself. Everything you do is based on who you are. So if you can really get to the bottom of who you are in this moment, that's the key in this moment, not completely, not who you were or who you're going to be, but who you are in this moment, knowing each moment builds the bigger moments, okay? So being present again in who you are here is going to help you realise that everything that you do is working you towards those changes that you're trying to bring in, even if they don't feel like they are. Okay, I want to go to the gym, but this week I can't because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, but getting X, Y, and Z sorted will free up time to get you to the gym. So knowing, that each one of these distractions or blocks depend on how we see them. We can see them as an opportunity to get nothing done, or we can use them. We can use the energy behind it, the frustration, the whole point of their purpose. Sometimes I recognize I use a lot of my energy doing other things rather than solidifying myself as the foundation. And I will feel that. I feel that through stress in my body. And I'll be very grateful for those things because they've pointed out where I'm not quite achieving what I want to achieve with myself first and foremost. And that's key this week. Okay, so in order to take all of these different ideas, these inspirations, these frustrations, these distractions, this stressful, transformative energy and make changes from it, look at your foundation. Look at yourself as your own foundation this week, your own ability to create change, your own conduit of chaos magic, because that's what we are. Okay, we are conduits of chaos. The only constant is change, right? Okay, so it's about how we navigate that now, how we actually see change. And yeah, the moon card at the bottom, having ceremony for these things that have shifted. You know, taking time out to acknowledge what has changed, what has shifted. Otherwise, we're going to carry that forward. We're going to beat to the same drum. Okay, so really taking time to acknowledge where you are at, giving thanks for where you were, doing that in ceremony or writing a letter perhaps to your past self, thanking yourself for everything that has occurred, or letters to other people that have helped you with this, and maybe burning them in fire, a safe fire obviously, or staring at the moon. We're still in the energy of the full moon, the Leo full moon, utilizing that, staring at the moon and just, you know, giving thanks for everything that has happened and acknowledging from this moment on, these are the changes to put into place, or this is what you're aiming for. Doing that in every moment is fantastic, but at least with the moons, with the cycles, with your own cycles, recognizing your own cycles this week is going to be key. Okay, so when you get those influxes of energy, you know, there's a high chance if you have a womb, then you are in the ovulating phase of your cycle, and that's a really good time to start building momentum. If you're feeling more withdrawn, or perhaps in the bleeding stage of your cycle, that wouldn't be a really good idea to be bringing in new things. And it's the same with the moon, how you relate to the stages of the moon, the full moon and the new moon, or even the stages of the day. Yeah, figuring out your own routine is going to be the most solid structure you can give yourself for the whole year. Okay, because that, your cycles, the cycles themselves change, but your ability to connect to them really needs to be rooted, really needs to be the only constant. Okay, right, so with that in mind, the energies this week and how to best navigate them. Well, yes, quite rightfully so, we've already said how to best navigate them, but is there anything else we can look out for this week? Okay, so now we've looked at how to best navigate the energies, we're going to look at what is actually going to occur this week. Interesting. Okay. Four of Fire, completion. I really do feel a whole circle coming this week, a real opportunity to clear the decks. Okay, so we have herbs there. We do have a cleansing, a deep cleansing of everything coming together. And we have 8 of water underneath, the stagnation, the grief. Everything's slowly starting to come together this week, but holding space for that, allowing that to happen. Okay, right, I'm going to reshuffle. It is a great opportunity to reshuffle what is going on, to reshuffle what it is we want, to reshuffle where we're at, and it's to reshuffle something, our truth. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's 2 for Saturday, Sunday, oh gosh, there's 3 for overall. I could feel it. I could really feel that. Underneath it all, we have the 3 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles. The 3 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles, and we have fullness and accumulation here. There's a birth of some changes that have been occurring, and it might not feel like it's happening. Just like any classic delivery and labour, it may feel as if we've got to that point where nothing is happening, and that dreaded midwife or doctor at the end of the bed keeps saying, you're nearly there, you're nearly there, you're nearly there. Okay, and that's what this whole week is about. But the other thing that really needs reshuffling is our truth and how we see that and ourselves in particular, because I really felt like there was something else that needed reshuffling, and it felt like something that we hadn't collectively looked at, that we'd skirted around, that we'd kind of brought ourselves in slowly to look at the main thing we needed to address, which was our own truth and our own authenticity and our own authentic self. And that is the theme of this year. It's the theme of our lives, right? But really is the theme of this year, and anything that isn't in alignment with that is going to knock us. The other day I had some news about my own health that I don't agree with. I do not agree with, and it knocked me. It did knock me, quite rightfully so, and it made me fall. And I respected the process, went into the process, and as a result, I'm still wobbly. It's life. I'm still wobbly, but I know myself and I know what I'm capable of, and I know I will find another avenue and another way to do it. And I know that it will all be part of that in the long run. But that does come down to our own truth and how we see, or how we choose to see, our own truth. So it's not to say that the perspectives we have on ourselves or the situation aren't accurate, but they're not the whole truth. The whole truth, and nothing but the truth this week in particular is what's going to really deliver the accumulation of all the things that we've created coming into one. And it does start on the Monday. It really does start on the Monday by connecting to what is true to us, what gives us drive, what gives us passion. And I'm surprised but really excited to know that for me it's laughter and it's joy. And I say surprised because it's been some heavy years, right? There's been some really heavy years, and being the eldest of my family, a lot of people will resonate with this, that there's been a lot of responsibility many have carried to carry the weight of things, and it really does feel like finding our truth and the light behind that. And in order to carry heavy things, we need to be light. We need to be joyful. I can see like dancing. We need to be, if we're going to go into the darkness, we need that light this week. So really recognizing the truth of energy, the truth of what we're feeling, and the truth of who we are. It's that's going to help us create with this, because on the Tuesday we go from an ace of fire, on the Monday an arrow, that aha moment, and it feels like an aha moment. You can hear the song, ha ha this away, ha. Anyway, there's so much light energy coming in. That aha moment, that light in the darkness on the Monday. And it is as the sun's setting, so it could be in the evening, okay, it could be as the moon is starting to come up. Regardless, we take that on the Tuesday and start to create with it, because we have the Queen of Fire, we have the Queen of Wands here, we have the Mother of Fire, okay, and we start to create with that. Gosh, I can see a horse in the background. Now that is something that definitely brings me joy. So finding your horse this week, finding the thing that's going to carry you forward, finding that thing that has always helped you through life, and you will see it because it's who you are. It's who you are. That, you may think that you've had people in your life that have made you laugh, or people in your life that have brought you hope, or situations that have helped you gain strength. Really looking into the essence of this now, that Ace of Fire, that truth that is who you are. That's who you've needed and what you've needed. But it's also who you are, because we get what we need to remember who we are and to create with that. Okay, so finding your horse this week, that thing that's going to carry you forward, and start really aiming everything you do towards that. On the Wednesday, we have balance. On the Wednesday, we have emotional balance. Okay, so we've worked with the element of fire. We've cleared through things that aren't us, and we've been bringing in things that are us. That are us. And that's going to bring a bit of an emotional flow, a necessary emotional flow. When we think about the medicine wheel, when we're breathing something in, when we're breathing an idea in with that initial breath goes throughout the body, yes, and it starts to really spark the fire. It starts to really ignite the neurotransmitters and the electrical charges around our body. And then when it does that, it starts to initiate the lymphatic flow and the blood circulation within us. So it's a natural process. That's what we want to get to on the Wednesday, knowing that whatever is occurring is a natural process that's helping you to bring balance to what it is you need to nurture now in order to create. Okay, so whatever happens Wednesday, flow with it. That's my guidance for Wednesday. Just flow with whatever is occurring Wednesday. And just really look after yourself, because we still have the impact of the moon Wednesday, because it's still there in the background. Drink plenty of water, let the shifts occur, because as I've mentioned before, February does mean to purge, it does mean to clear, so don't forget that. But also knowing that the moon is our cycles too, and really honing into that. So if we're not feeling it, come on guys, it's up to us to keep that balance. Now I'm just as guilty as the next person. I think, right, I want to do this and I'm going to keep going, and then you end up picking up the pieces the other way through. So just really keeping that balance, acknowledging yourself as a sacred vessel on the Wednesday is going to be key, because on the Thursday we have breakthrough, the 6 of Wands. Okay, I just love here how almost what she has on her head looks like the very container for the breakthrough. I mean, it isn't, but I just love the similarities there, and that feels key as well on the Thursday, recognizing the similarities, recognizing the coincidences, the synchronicities, and how they relate to you. So I know that her headpiece isn't the basket, but I know intuitively I've been shown that similarity for a reason, and that is our head, our mind is going to be what grounds our own growth come the Wednesday, Thursday and Friday time, and Saturday. Oh, the rest of the week. From the rest of the week onwards, from Wednesday onwards, what is in our mind is going to help grow our own ability to stretch up beyond where we were. Yeah, it's going to be our breakthrough. Really observing what's going on in the head Wednesday. Okay, even though it may feel like it's emotions on the Wednesday, recognizing the impact our thoughts have on them. Okay, now that's not to say we ignore them, but observe them. Really see what's going on and observe them. What is that showing me? What do I need to do? What do I need? Where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? Yeah, this week in particular. Because on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we do have the 7 of Wands. Now, the 7 of Wands depends on how you want to see it. It's the same with everything. In this deck, it's seen as endurance. Excuse me. And I'm being really drawn to see that the sun goes up with the Ace of Fire and goes down with the 7 of Wands. Now, the reason I'm being shown that is, and I almost put them in different positions then, to see that it's a cycle. Okay, so we get the spark, we go through the changes, we breathe it in, everything shifts in our body, and we must remember to breathe it out. So at the end of every evening, guys, marking that death within us, marking, okay, that was then, I've done that now, letting it go. It's going to really help with the endurance. Otherwise, we're going to take this all through, and it doesn't all need to be delivered. Okay, we're going to take it. It's kind of like, the analogy I get is like trying to deliver a child, but also use all your previous children and try and, deliver all that as well. Now, it is about fine-tuning what it is you want to create this week, which means the spark, the truth, letting go of what isn't, recognizing it for what it is. Thank you for that. I'm really grateful for that lesson, but not actually taking it through. And it's going to take some fine tuning. It's going to take some fine tuning. And this is where on the Saturday, we do have the daughter of air. Now, she's the daughter of air, not the mother of air. So she's young. Okay, it's the beginning stages. So keeping it light. Recognizing that this is a new way of manifesting. That's what it feels like. It's a new way of manifesting. It's a new way of creating. It's a new way of recognizing who you are as a creator. So keeping it light this week is going to really make a difference. Keep the magic. Keep the magic. Do not lose the magic. The amount of times we walk along and we see a feather and we think, oh, that's a beautiful sign. And we need that. We need that to keep believing. Okay, so whatever, or some people do. So whatever it is you need to keep believing on the Saturday, find it and surround yourself with it, because on the Sunday we're going to be tested, and all week. And it's actually the masculine that's being tested, because the feminine is quite mature here. We're at the mother stage, we're at the nurturing stage, other than our mind. Now, the reason our mind isn't quite there at the moment is it's necessary. It needs to stay light, it needs to stay fun, it needs to be sexually attractive, it needs to desire, and we need to feel desire for it. We need to want. That's what I hear. We need to want what it is we're going after this week, because the masculine energy, our actions, not 100% sure. They're not 100% sure, and that's going to really come to light on the Sunday. And it's that is holding us back, but it's also that is going to help bring our own light to the forefront. It's also that's going to help us really look at where we're at and to maybe have a bit of compassion for ourselves. You know, there may be things we're trying to manifest, but actually we don't believe in them 100% for whatever reason. You know, we might not quite feel ready. There might be secondary gains there. We might doubt our ability to achieve it, and that's okay. It's okay to doubt. Yeah, remember, we're growing. We are really, really growing. Okay, now the sunflower, when it starts as a sunflower seed, must look at its sunflower ancestors and think, goodness me, I've got to get that big. Okay, it's okay to see things from a distance based on where we are. It's a pivotal moment, because unless we acknowledge where we are, we're not going to get what we need coming in to get to where we want to be. Okay, so I'm all for positive thinking. I'm all for future manifestation and keeping that mindset with the groundedness of knowing where we are as well. Otherwise, we are bypassing that. And, you know, we're just going to get lessons for this future version of ourselves based on where we are. And that's going to be quite difficult. Okay, so really, really grounding in where we are, knowing where we want to be, connecting to our higher self, of course. But don't forget the physical body. That's what I feel this week. Don't forget the physical body, because without that, it's just an idea. Without that, we are formless. Okay, without physical actions, nothing actually changes. So really being aware of that this week and nurturing ourselves for whatever it is we are trying to achieve. Yeah, it's not even, I was going to say walking our talk. It's not practicing what we preach. It's actually receiving our own medicine. What would it be like to go to yourself if you're a tarot reader for a reading? What would it be like to go to yourself for a business consultation if you're a business consultant? What would it be like to go to yourself for a massage? You know, really looking at that. Do you give yourself the same as what you give everybody else? And taking responsibility for that is going to be the freedom. Yeah, it's going to be the belief. It's going to be the drive that carries you forward. It's a real deep embodiment of your higher self. It's a real deep embodiment where your higher self isn't separate. It isn't a future version, it's now. Okay, but we can't do that unless we recognise that we're not connected to that in the first place. We really need to know where we are in each moment. Okay, so overall, we have the Four of Air, contemplation. So we have that 4 again. We do have a really solid structure and foundation here. We then have the 8 of Fire, which is insight, just as I knocked the microphone. Just dropped the mic. Contemplation, okay, on the insight that is coming through. Really thinking about what it is we are receiving, the light that we are receiving here. And then 9 of Water, joy. Without joy, any change is going to be difficult. Without love, any creation, any deliverance is hard. Okay, and that is down to us to provide that. And there's something else there. I can feel there's something else there. So let's have a little look. We have one here, of course, we have one major arcana this week, just double checking. It's like there's something else there, but it's hiding and I can't quite figure it out. Well, of course, it's the devil, right? It's torment, okay? The thing that is hiding behind it all is our own light and our own ability to see it, to receive it, to acknowledge it, accept it. The light and the darkness within us all as one in order to free us from our own restrictions here. Or recognise that maybe we don't want to. Recognise that maybe we're not quite ready yet. Okay, so there is something else there. Let's have a little look. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put them together. It feels very important to put all the elements together, to put everything together this week and see what is going on. So we have 4, double checking, no, 5. Okay, double checking. It is the bringing the elements together that's going to help us double check, dot the I's, cross the T's. Feels really, really relevant this week and something I can take on board myself. By double checking, we're not doubting, we're double checking. And that feels really poignant when it comes to our masculine and our masculine actions, that the males in our life, from gender perspective, but also what we do with the insights, that we recognize it's not that we're doubting, we're just double checking. Or maybe it is that we're doubting and we're doing it under the guise of double checking. So really recognizing what that might be for you this week and the impact that it has on your ability to take an idea and create with it without it just burning you out. Okay, so really looking, are the questions helping or are they confusing the situation? Are the doubts expanding the potential or restricting them? Are they your truth this week? Okay, so we have 5. It's a massive turning point in regards to the connection to our own spirit and our own belief in our own spirit and our own driving force and our own hope. Okay, we then have cup-wise 1, 2, is that 2? Yes, 2 cups, which is a beautiful balance here. And we do have the mother of water. Is that otters at the bottom? No, fish. Oh no, there is one otter. There's one otter at the bottom here, and I was really drawn to the otter. I don't know if you can see that. No, not quite. Yeah. I was really drawn to the otter because I think it's otters that pair for life, and you see them floating around in the water holding hand. But there's only one in this card at the moment, and it's interesting. I'm remembering a dream now that I had last night about lots of pigs flying. But anyway, belief here is key. There's 3 fishes. Now 3 is creation, 3 is deliverance, 3 is birth. There are 3 fishes here and there is only one otter, but it's almost like it's being swept to where it needs to go. I'm really trusting that. In the cups cards, in the emotions card, letting your heart guide you towards your soulmate, if that's what you believe in. I didn't mean that phrase, actually, that face. And being aware of that. Being aware of the hidden language that is occurring in what it is that you share. So that's a me thing. Okay, so whether you are going towards your soulmate, whether you're going towards your ideal dream, whatever it is, allowing your heart to be aware of the communication that you still have, but also being aware of the impact that can have and acknowledging it, taking responsibility for it, and that will actually flow you towards what it is you're trying to achieve. Now, I can really take that on board. But anyway, the 2 of Cups, it's about remembering the 2 of Cups. There's 2 cups, sorry, but yes, the 2 of Cups. It's about remembering the joy. It's about remembering the initial emotion behind everything that you've wanted. Okay, so we might want to go to the gym. We might want to get healthy. Why? How would that feel? How would that feel? All right, I'm really feeling into that. I'm feeling into where you are in comparison to that. Okay, we might want to find our future love. How would that feel? Okay, letting that really come into your heart and letting your body be prepared to receive that this week. The ebb and the flow, looking at what we're giving out and what we are receiving emotionally. Okay, so we then have 2 sword cards, but before we go there, I want to go onto the 1 earth card, the 1 pentacle that we do have, which is breakthrough. Remembering underneath it all this week, it is about physical change. It is about our own growth. It is about the seeds that we're planting. It is about the light that we need to keep bending towards. I'm pretty sure around about this time last year I did a video about sunflowers because it was the same plant ally that was coming through around about this time of year. So sunflowers, they're strong, they're tall, yeah, they're very firm and rooted in who they are. They have really, really big heads in comparison to their body. Okay, they always remind me of the Leo energy, but they also always lean to the light. They know they need that to grow. So really, really letting what brings you light be the only seed that you feed, the only energy that you connect to this week. And, you know, life is real, okay? Sometimes things aren't always as we want them to be. It's very hard to find the light in that, but it's there. So seek it, grow towards it. And in the times that you struggle to do that, know that even that is part of the process itself to find it. Okay, it's an important step. We then have 2 sword cards, which is again that beautiful balance between the emotions and the mind. We have a really lovely balance here, a really receptive energy, and that feels poignant to recognize our thoughts and the impact that they have on our emotions, and our emotions and the impact that they have on our thoughts this week. Feeling that come to a completion, contemplation of that. What would our life be like? Because we have the daughter of air, we have that younger energy. What would our life be like without those lessons that have got us to this point? How do we feel about that? Are we ready to let them go? And what does that mean? What would replace them? Yeah, what do we want to replace them? Really looking at how we feel behind that, because underneath it all, the only major arcana this week is the devil. Okay, it is about what is holding us back and why, and what else we may need to see or not. Are we ready to move forward? And if not, why not? And if we are, why not? Take care. Have the most incredible week. I'm going to leave it there because it just feels like that's it. That's done. Okay, keep it light, keep it snappy. That's what I want to say. And just have the most incredible week this week. Take care.